Hello, seekers of the unseen. Welcome to Mindbend Files. You are in the right place. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for the continuation of our videos that illuminate mysteries on different topics. Mysterious paths awaits us, so fasten our seatbelts and let us open the doors filled with secrets. The world is much more complex, profound place than we think. Mountains, seas, valleys, deserts. We can see them with our eyes, draw them on maps. But there are some places that simplify cannot fit into those maps. Neither confined within a country borders, not reducible to GPS coordinates. Those places open only to those who have awakened. And one of those places is the quietest, deepest, most hidden of legends, Shambala. Far away, very, very far, beyond the Himalayas, behind snowy peaks, between mists and profound silence, lies a centuries-old kingdom, they say. There's no war here, no evil. Time seems to have stopped. People here are neither hungry, nor sick, nor ambitious. Only pure-hearted individuals can enter this sacred realm. The way there is neither a path nor a vehicle, there is only an inner journey. This is an age-old myth. Tibetan monks know of it but do not describe it. It appears in some ancient texts, yet is not explicitly written. Its knowledge is whispered from mouth to ear, from heart to heart. Because this place is not a secret, it is in fact the secret itself. And perhaps the most profound question is this: is Shambala real or just a dream? For some, Shambala is the ultimate paradise on earth, the remains of a lost civilization. For others, it's a metaphysical dimension, a state of consciousness that you can approach as the frequency of your spirit rises. And according to some, Shambala is a calling. A sound echoing within every soul, yet only truly heard by very few. It whispers, remember yourself, return to the source, listen to the silence, because Shambala is not outside, it is within you. In Tibet, on the Mongolian steppes, in ancient Chinese inscriptions, even in Western esoteric traditions, traces of Shambala are sold. Some confuse it with Agartha. Others claim it is older than Atlantis. It is even said that during World War II, Nazi officers searched for it, because Shambala is not just a country. It is also an infinite source of power, ancient wisdom, a cosmic point of balance. Now, I ask you, dear listener, maybe you have been unconsciously seeking this land for years, in the books you read, in the dreams you build, those incomprehensible feelings you felt when you were alone. They perhaps were calling you towards Shambala. And now you are on the threshold of that gate you need to see with your heart. When you are this close, are you ready to turn back? Or will you step into that unknown realm? If you're ready, we embark on a mystical journey to the Tongu country, Shambala, a mystery, a legend, a voice resonating in the depths of Tibetan Buddhism. The name is not just a place, it's a symbol of an ideal, a state of being, an inner wisdom. Within it resides the teachings of the Kalachakra Tantra. Kalachakra, or the Wheel of Time, as it is also called, may seem like an ordinary ritual, but once you step into it, it transforms into a map that reveals the fabric of time, the map of the soul, the universe's complex dynamics. Shambala lies at the heart of these wisdoms. Legends say that Shambala is the birthplace, the protected heaven, and the future vessel of Kalachakra. Those who live here are not ordinary people. They have purified their minds, resolved their karma, comprehended the cycle of the universe. Every movement they make is a meditation, every word they speak is a mantra. Within them resides a living teacher. Here, there is a kingdom, but very different from what we know. These kings are spiritual guides. They exist not a rule, but to enlighten. They walk alongside the people. There are not ones above, but ones among. According to Tibetan legends, 32 sacred kings have ruled these lands so far. Each one represented a different aspect of Kalachakra: time, space, the energy of the body. Each king passed this sacred wisdom to the next, becoming its bearer. But the final link is Rudra Chakra, the furious wheel-bearer. This fury is not a worldly rage, it's a cosmic will in pursuit of justice. According to Tibetan texts, one day the world will lose its balance, people will stray from their essence, the bond with nature will break. Fear, violence, ignorance, and arrogance will spread everywhere. And that is when Rudra Chakran will emerge from Shambhala and start the final great war against dark armies. From the outside, this war might seem like a clash of weapons and soldiers, but in truth, it's a conflict between consciousness and ignorance, compassion and hatred, harmony and chaos. Rudra Chakran's coming is not just a prophecy, but a ray of hope. The outer world will be illuminated, and in kind, our inner world will be blessed by this light. Hearts will return to their origin, minds will clear. Humanity will remember its essence. That's why some Buddhist monks do not wait for his arrival. They prepare for his arrival. They meditate, study the studies of Kala Chakra. They purify their mind and body because the day comes, it will not only be a physical war, there will also be a cognitive awakening. And only those who are prepared can participate in this awakening. So, is this true just a religious myth or a metaphor, an invitation to awakening? For Tibetan priests, the legend of Shambhala is not a story of the past. It is a depiction of the future and, most importantly, a map of the inner journey. Reaching Shambhala is not a physical journey. You cannot get there by climbing a mountain. You cannot buy a plane ticket or track it with maps. The only way to reach Shambhala is by turning toward yourself, finding inner silence, silencing the noise of the mind, hearing the whispers of your soul. Because as Tibetan masters say, Shambhala is not a place. Shambhala is a state of being, and that state already lies hidden within you. And even today, some monks in the Himalayas believe in the physical existence of Shambhala, but more so, they remain faithful to its spiritual teachings, because this teaching represents not just a place, but a way of life, living in peace, acting with wisdom, remaining in harmony with nature, and even fighting evil without darkening your heart. The Vedas, the Puranas, and especially the Bhagavata Purana depict the great cycles of humanity. Time is divided into 4 ages: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And we live now in the darkest of these 4 eras, Kali Yuga, the age when corruption, moral decline, and ignorance are most widespread. People lose their connection with nature. Faith becomes a tool for gain. Wisdom is forgotten, ambitious is exalted, and right at this point, the desire to restore the universe balance arises. A renewal against decay is essential. The gods once again feel the need to intervene in the world. The god Vishnu symbolizes creativity, resurrection, and balance. In every period of human history, he descends to the world in different forms. These descents are called avatars in Hinduism. Brahma, Krishna, Narasimha walked with us across centuries, but one still has not come, the 10th and final avatar, Kalki. Kalki, according to legend, he will be born in Shambhala. This is the most striking detail about his coming, because Shambhala is not just a place where wise souls live, it is also the center of divine intervention. Kalki avatar will come upon a horse holding a sword, but this is not a sword for ordinary battle. It is a symbol of internal transformation, not to cut down evil outside, but to shatter the darkness within hearts. This battle's target is not enemies in the outer world, it's pride, greed, hatred, and ignorance within the human. Kalki is not merely a warrior, he is also a teacher, a reminder, and a transformer. With his arrival, Kali Yuga will end and a new era will begin, Satya Yuga, the age of truth. Humanity will return to its essence, nature will regain its sacredness, wisdom and compassion will reign anew, and the place where this rebirth begins is Shambhala. You see, this is not a place of escape, it's a point of beginning. Threshold through which a world full of darkness opens to enlightenment. It is both a refuge and a birthplace. Like a womb, it devours the old and births the new. The Kalki born in Shambhala is the symbol of universal justice and spiritual revolution. Hindu mythology tells us this: Kalki avatar's coming is not just about time, it is about consciousness. Each age is lived not only in the universe, but also within the individual. While some people still exist in the purify of Satya Yuga, others' minds are already buried in the darkness of Kali Yuga. And Kalki perhaps will not come from outside, but will be born within us. Perhaps each of us harbors a potential Kalki rising against darkness. Every inner awakening is like a small spark, and when these sparks merge, that great light spreading across the light emerges. Dark ages are not just decline, they are springboards for ascent. The first step of this ascent is awakening the Kalki within, summoning courage, honesty, compassion, and wisdom. So now I ask you, if Kalki will be born within us and this journey begins in Shambala, where is your Shambala? What is your refuge? Where will your transformation begin? Maybe until now, all the answers you sought outside were hidden deep within you. Maybe you are on the verge of starting your own Satya Yuga from within this dark age. Are you ready to become Kalki instead of waiting? Think about it. The mid-19th century, the world is being swept away like a revolution. Science progresses on one hand, cities grow through the Industrial Revolution. On the other, materialism captivates people's minds like a prison. But right in the middle of this chaos, a brand new movement is budding in the West, an esoteric awakening. People pursue the unseen, they question the spiritual dimensions beyond physical reality, they turn eastward toward the ancient profundities of Asia, and in this atmosphere, Shambhala is reborn. By this time, not merely a legend whispered by Tibetan monks, in the eyes of Western occultists and metaphysicians, it becomes a spiritual center. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, born in 1831, this Russian aristocrat is one of the most influential esoteric figures of the period. Through founding the Theosophical Society, she aims to unite Eastern and Western mysticism. According to Blavatsky, the world does not exist solely on a physical plane. There are other dimensions that are invisible yet more real. At the center of these dimensions lies a place where spiritual balance is preserved, Shambhala. She describes Shambhala as the spiritual heart of the world. It is the region where the masters of wisdom dwell. These masters guide humanity both in the physical and spiritual realms. Some are in human form, others felt higher levels of consciousness. Shambhala is the headquarters of these beings, an energy center, a field of consciousness, and also a zone of protection. Subsequent major figures also adopt to this view. Nicholas Roerich, also a Russian painter, writer, and thinker, travels the Himalayas, stays in Tibetan monasteries, studies ancient texts. According to Roerich, Shambhala may exist physically, but this place is not accessible to ordinary people. Only those whose hearts are pure and consciousness elevated can pass through that door. Roerich relays during his Himalayan journeys that some lamas told him, Shambhala is near, but I will never tell you its direction. According to him, Shambhala is both real and symbolic. The energy of the world's great changes is first felt in Shambhala, he says. Earthquakes, wars, revolutions, all are first felt energetically there and then reflected onto the earthly plane. Over time, this view resonates not only in spiritual circles, but also in political and occult groups. Particularly, Nazi Germany develops deep interest in rumors associated with Shambhala and Agartha. Some occultists among Hitler's advisors believed they could contact superhuman beings living in Shambhala. Therefore, they sent secret exploration teams into the Himalayas. But what they found, what they were really looking for, remains a secret. Some others relate Shambhala to Agartha. Agartha is the center of underground civilizations, the capital of hidden cities connected by tunnels across the world. According to some accounts, Agartha exists physically, while Shambhala functions as a spiritual wisdom center in a higher dimension. In some traditions, these two cities are connected, one serving as the physical realm, the other as the spiritual wisdom hub. All these theories, myths, and research ultimately lead to the same question: is Shambhala a place or is it a state? According to Tibetan monks, the answer is clear. Shambhala could not be found on a map. What we seek is not outside, neither behind mountains, nor beneath tunnels, nor beyond space. Shambhala is accessible only to those with pure hearts and level of consciousness. That is why in Tibetan Buddhism, the journey to Shambhala is not outward, but inward. It's a journey of inner purification, mental clarity, spiritual awakening, so we arrive at the essence of the ancient teaching here. To go to Shambhala, you do not look at the map, but at your heart. Perhaps that's why this legend has lasted thousands of years. what it means is far more than a geographical reality. Shambhala is actually like a mirror. It reflects humanity's inner yearning for unity and balance. In every era, in every culture, when people felt that evil was increasing, they imagined a savior, a center of balance, a spiritual sanctuary. Shambhala has always been the collective symbol of this caste. And maybe it really exists, but if the compass needle turns not north but toward the center of the consciousness, it's a place you can see. So the answer to the question may be Shambhala both exists and doesn't. It is there for those who see. For those who do not, it's a legend. So the real issue is not where Shambhala is, but whether you have the eyes to see it and the heart to hear it. Maybe while watching this video, you may move a little closer to that door. Maybe for the first time now, you have faced that deep longing inside you and a voice whispered to you, "Welcome, you were already here." And at that moment, the legend of Shambhala silently rebirths within you. In the 20th century, Western explorers flocked to the Himalayas. Walking at the foot of mountains, they thought they might reach Shambhala, especially around Tibet's northern Kunlun Mountains and the Gobi Desert. These were suggested as possibly locations of this mysterious country. At that time, interest in Shambhala was not limited to scientists. Nazi Germany had a strong connection with occult beliefs. As leader Heinrich Himmler was passionately attached to ancient wisdoms and secrets of legendary cities. The organization he founded, the Arna Nerbe, was tasked with investigating humanity's ancient past. In 1938, a Nazi expedition was sent to Tibet. Officially, their mission was to study the region's flora and fauna, but speculations suggest that in the background they were tracking Agartha and Shambhala. Written sources about contact with Tibetan monks are very limited, but according to some speculations, the Nazi delegation returned to Germany with texts containing secrets about Shambhala. Why was Shambhala so important? Because it was thought to be one of the spiritual and energetic centers of the world. According to some, the ancient beings living there held knowledge able to intervene in. According to some, the ancient beings living there held knowledge able to intervene in humanity's history. Other narrators associated Shambhala with Agartha. Agartha was the center of underground civilizations, a capital of hidden cities connected by tunnels across the globe. According to some traditions, Agartha exists physically, whereas Shambhala is a domain of spiritual wisdom in a higher plane. In some accounts, the two cities are interconnected, one serving as the physical dimension, the other as the spiritual wisdom hub. All these theories, myths and investigations converge on the same inquiry. Is Shambhala a place or a state? The Tibetan monk's answer is definite. Shambhala cannot be located on a map. What you seek is not out there, not behind mountains, nor within tunnels, nor beyond space. Shambhala is a consciousness level, accessible only to those whose hearts are pure. Therefore, in Tibetan Buddhism, reaching Shambhala is not about a physical journey. It's about a journey inward, an inner purification, clarity of mind, a spiritual awakening. And here we arrive at the essence of the ancient teaching. To go to Shambhala, don't look at a map, look at your heart. Perhaps this is why this myth has endured for millennia. It's not merely a geographical location, it's a mirror of humanity's collective yearning for harmony and unity. In every era and culture, when people believed evil was rising, they imagined a savior, a point of balance, a spiritual refuge. Shambhala has always symbolized that search. And maybe it truly exists, but if the compass needle inside you turns not north but toward consciousness, it will be visible. The answer perhaps is Shambhala both exists and doesn't. For those who see, it is real. For those who cannot, it remains legend. Therefore, the fundamental matter is not where Shambhala is, but where you have the gaze to see it and the heart to hear it. Perhaps by watching this video, you have already stepped closer to that door. Perhaps for the first time now, you have confronted that deep yearning within. And a voice whispered, "Welcome, you were already here." And at that moment, the legend of Shambhala is reborn within you. In the 20th century, Western explorers flocked to the Himalayas. Maybe they believed they would reach Shambhala, especially around the northern Tibet Kunlun Mountains and the Gobi Desert. These regions were cited as possible locations of the mysterious country. At that time, interest in Shambhala wasn't limited to scientists. Nazi Germany had a deep interest in occult beliefs, SS leader Heinrich Himmler was passionately devoted to ancient wisdoms and the secrets of legendary cities. The organization he founded, Ahnenerbe, was tasked with researching humanity's ancient past. In 1938, a Nazi expedition was sent to Tibet. Officially, their goal was to study the region's flora and fauna, but behind the scenes, they allegedly saw traces of Agartha and Shambhala. Written records of the contact with Tibetan monks are very limited, but some speculation suggests that the Nazi delegation returned to Germany with texts preserving Shambhala's secrets. Why was Shambhala so significant? Because it was thought to be one of the energetic and spiritual centers of the world. Some believed that the ancient beings residing there possessed knowledge that could affect humanity's history. Some also linked Shambhala with Agartha. Agartha was a subterranean city, the capital of hidden worlds connected by tunnels. Some say Agartha exists physically, whereas Shambhala was a realm of spiritual wisdom in a higher dimension. Some traditions suggest these two cities are connected, one physical, the other spiritual. Eventually, all these theories, myths, and research lead to the same question: is Shambhala a place or a state? Tibetan monks, their answer is clear: Shambhala cannot be found on a map. What you seek is not outside, not beyond mountains, nor beneath tunnels, nor in outer space. Shambhala is a level of consciousness accessible only to the pure of heart. Thus, in Tibetan Buddhism, the journey to Shambhala is not physical but inner. It's a journey of inner purification, mental clarity, and spiritual awakening. And here we arrive at the core of an ancient teaching. To go to Shambhala, you don't look at a map, you look at your heart. Maybe that is why this legend has endured for thousands of years. It's more than a place, it's mere reflecting humanity's inner yearning for unity and balance. In every age and culture, when people thought evil was increasing, they imagined a savior, a balance center, a spiritual sanctuary. Shambhala became the collective symbol of that caste. And perhaps it truly exists. But if your internal compass points not north but toward consciousness, you will see it. So the answer may be Shambhala both exists and doesn't. It's a real for those who see, for others it remains a legend. Hence, the real question isn't where Shambhala is, but whether you have the eyes to see it and the heart to hear it. Maybe watching this video already brought you closer to the threshold. Maybe for the first time now you face that profound longing within, and a whisper said, "Welcome, you are already here." And at that moment, the legend of Shambhala rebirths within you. 20th century Western explorers poured into the Himalayas. They walked beneath mountains, perhaps believing they could reach Shambhala, particularly in northern Tibet's Kunlun Mountains and around the Gobi Desert. These places were proposed as possible locations of that mysterious land. Back then, interest in Shambhala wasn't confined to scientists. Nazi Germany was deeply drawn to occult beliefs. SS leader Heinrich Himmler was passionately invested in ancient wisdom and the secrets of legendary cities. The organization he founded, Ahnenerbe, was charged with studying humanity's ancient past. In 1938, a Nazi expedition was dispatched to Tibet. Their official mission studied the region's flora and fauna, but allegedly they were secretly in search of Agartha and Shambhala. Written records of contact with Tibetan monks are scarce, yet according to rumors, the Nazi group returned to Germany carrying texts that contained Shambhala's secrets. Why was Shambhala so important? Because it was considered one of the spiritual and energetic centers of the world. Some believed beings living there held knowledge capable of influencing human history. Others linked Shambhala with Agartha, the legendary city beneath the earth, a capital of hidden underground civilization connected by tunnels. Some say Agartha exists physically, while Shambhala is a spiritual wisdom center in a higher dimension. In some versions, the two cities are connected, one physical and one spiritual. All these myths, theories, and investigations eventually pose the same question: is Shambhala a place or a state? The Tibetan cleric's answer is clear: Shambhala cannot be denoted on a map. What you seek is not there out there, neither beyond mountains, nor within tunnels, nor across space. Shambhala is a consciousness level, accessible only to pure hearts. Thus, in Tibetan Buddhism, the journey to Shambhala is inner, not outer. It's a path of inner purification, clarity of mind, spiritual awakening. This reveals the core of an ancient teaching. The journey to Shambhala, don't look at a map, look into your heart. Perhaps that's why this legend has persisted for millennia. It's more than geography, it's a mirror of mankind's deep yearning for unity and balance. In every culture and epoch, whenever people sense the rise of evil, they imagine the savior, a center of harmony, a spiritual refugee. Shambhala has always symbolized that collective search. And maybe it truly exists. Yet if your internal compass points not north but toward consciousness, you might just see it. So the answer could well be Shambala both exists and doesn't. It's real for those who see, for others it's a legend. The real question isn't where is Shambala, but do you have the eyes to see it and heart to hear it? Perhaps by watching this video you have already taken the first step toward that inner threshold. Maybe for the first time now you met that deep longing inside and a whisper reached you. Welcome, you were always here. In that moment the legend of Shambala was reborn within you. Every ending is the door to another beginning. At Mindband Files, mysteries always find a new path. Until we meet again on the next journey where we uncover another secret. Take care of yourselves.